We live in a world in which individuals are prevented from leading meaningful lives due to armed conflict, crime, and government corruption. For many people, the world is a dangerous, unjust place. It appears as though living in a state of peace is more of a privilege than a human right. According to Article 28 of the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights, everyone is entitled to a social and international order in which their rights and freedoms can be fully realized. Unfortunately, for many people, rights are violated every day due to war, crime, and government corruption. Sustainable Development Goal number 16 aims to establish peace, justice, and strong institutions for people everywhere. Despite pledges to peace, the US and North Korea have been having a war on words, threatening nuclear war on both ends.
And by the way, Rocket Man should have been handled a long time ago.
Nobody wants to fight a nuclear war, not North Korea and not the United States. Yet leaders in both countries know that such a war may come, if not by choice, then by mistake. With current threats and the possibility of nuclear war, peace and security for millions of individuals is severely at risk. This is why Sustainable Development Goal number 16 is so important. Peace, justice, and effective, accountable institutions are at the very core of sustainable development. SDG 16 aims to build effective and accountable governments. Canada's commitment to SDG 16 is critical to upholding the human rights and addressing past and present wrongdoings in Indigenous communities. For decades, Canada's Indigenous people have lived with inadequate housing, food insecurity, unsafe drinking water, among massive impoverishment. This kind of social and economic marginalization has exposed Indigenous women to many accounts of violence on reserves and in Canadian cities. The resulting vulnerability of Indigenous women drastically reduces their capabilities, leading them to lives of homelessness, prostitution, and substance abuse. Such dangerous conditions often leads to their disappearance or death.
Far too many Indigenous women live in Canada a life that includes threats of violence so frequent and severe that Amnesty International has called it a human rights crisis.
For decades, Canadian authorities have failed to protect the rights and freedoms of Indigenous peoples. Sustainable Development Goal number 16 will hold the Canadian government accountable for upholding human rights and serving justice in Indigenous communities. And to conclude with the Martin Luther King quote, "It is not possible to be in favor of justice for some people and not be in favor of justice for all people."